Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a December 2022 budget recap in the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Okay, so as I said in my introduction, this is the last budget recap, monthly budget recap for 2022. We're going to be checking out my December 2022 budget. If you have not seen my most recent cash envelope stuffing, I did mention in that video that I just got a new phone and I film all of my videos on my phone. I'm trying to figure out my video settings. I don't think I've gotten there yet. My last cash envelope stuffing I filmed on like the most pristine and high definition settings, and then I couldn't upload the video onto YouTube. It was going to take way too long and that just wasn't going to work. So I'm trying to have 4K quality but less definition so that the videos are still really crisp but won't take as long to upload. I don't know if this is going to work. I can tell you from me looking at the camera as I'm filming this, it seems very, very choppy and not very smooth. So we'll see what happens. But starting off in my December monthly overview, everything that we have listed here is checked off. Every bill for December has been paid for. Every savings challenge contribution has been made. And so we're going to head right over to my debt payment plan. Now, I started using this sheet this year. I'm going to zoom on in for you all. I started using this sheet this year. It's really weird because as I zoom in, it gets darker, which is kind of odd for me. Sorry about that. I don't know if I'll be able to fix that. But basically, I am paying on debt now because I have a car that I'm trying to pay off. I also have student loans, but I'm not actively paying on them because they are on hold from the federal government. So my two different debts are listed here. My number one priority is my car. I did not make any extra debt payments this month. I was going to, and then I did some overspending towards the end of December, I'd say, and I didn't want to go into the new year with any balances on my credit card, so I just decided to pay the credit card and not contribute extra to my car. So monthly debt progress. Last month, my debt balance between my student loan and my car loan was $66,508.12. This month, my balance is $65,768.27. That means my total debt progress was $739.85. Now, that is more than the $456.85 that I pay as my minimum payment on my car. And that's because I am not paying on my student loan, but my employer actually is. I'm currently benefiting from a program that my employer has in place where they will pay $333.33 every month towards your student loans for up to $20,000. So that's why this number is bigger than what my personal minimum balance was. I'm trying to figure out how to show that in my budget, that $333 payment, even though it's not coming out of my income. And someone did have a suggestion on, I think, my November budget recap video that I should include it as other income and then put the debt payment in as an actual payment. And I think I'm going to start doing that come 2023. I think that was a really good suggestion. Overall, my monthly debt progress was 1.04%. If we go over to my overall debt progress, I think I've mentioned in the past, but this total debt I started with, this is kind of sort of not really true. This is my total debt when I purchased my vehicle. So my student loan plus my top loan amount for my car, $70,910.32. At one point, though, I had more debt than that because prior to the pandemic, I had been paying on my student loans, and I had probably paid somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 towards my student loans already. I think I started off with about $60,000 in student loans, and I'm hovering just below $44,000, or I was hovering just below $44,000 before my employer started making payments. So this is accurate to when I purchased my car in June 2022. This month, my total debt balance was $65,768.27. As I mentioned before, that means overall debt progress has been $5,142.05 and 7.25%, which I'm happy with since that's only really for the second half of 2022. Next, we're going to move over to my monthly net worth tracker. This is something that I started doing in 2022 as well. So prior to 2022, I'd never figured out my net worth before. I decided that was going to be a goal of mine this year. I wanted to figure out my net worth for every month of 2022. I did pretty well. I did not figure out my net worth in July, but that was the only month this year that I didn't do that. Now, as you can see, I'm reviewing and closing out my budget a little late. It's actually the first week of, actually, that's not right. It's the 7th. I'm just realizing that, but I'm a week into the new year when I'm finally getting to this. So just, again, I go back and look at everything on the last day of December. So nothing for January 2023 is factoring in here, but I was a little late to closing out my budget for December. Last month's net worth was $134,320.25. I do keep my assets private, but I'm very willing to share my liabilities and then share my total assets. So my total assets are currently $206,193.57. And then my two liabilities are my student loan and my new car, and they equal up to $65,768.27. Now, if I subtract my total liabilities from my total assets, we will have my current net worth, and that is $140,425.30. And if I subtract that, if I subtract my my net worth from last month, from November 2022, from my current net worth for December 2022, I had an increase in my net worth of $6,105.05, and that was a percentage change of 4.6%. So really excited to see that my net worth is moving in a positive direction. I think there was at least a couple of months this year where it actually, I ended up with a negative change in my net worth between purchasing a vehicle and having changes to the stock market. So it's really nice to have that be moving in a positive direction. Now, we are going to focus on the monthly budget category breakdown, which is one of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets from the Budget Mom. This is really, to me, the meat and potatoes of closing out your budget. I absolutely love this sheet. I think it's super important, and I never miss doing this one if I can help it. The first thing we're going to look at is going to be my total monthly inflow. Now, the Budget Mom uses inflow because you're really taking in money from multiple sources. Usually it's not just necessarily straight income, and she wants to account for that. So my starting balance, which was money that I rolled over from November of 2020 to December 2022, was $983.33. I had earned income of $6,213.27. Now, that earned income is strictly my full-time job. Any other income that I made is in other income, and now other income was quite a bit for December. It was $2,187.75, and there's a few reasons for that. I get an annual bonus at work, and I got it in December, so it's factored into here. It was about a little over $1,400. I did some side work for my employer, so I got two separate checks from that. One was $150, the other was $450, so those are included in here. And then I did get paid out from a couple of different sources. I think it was mostly Etsy. Instagram for reels, because you can make money on reels now. I think that was it, but that's all factored into here. Now, the other category, the last category, is going to be savings used. So I did use money from sinking funds in the month of December, and that's where this total is coming from here. So if I add everything together, my total monthly inflow is going to be $10,271.55. Now, everything we have coming out needs to equal everything that came in. And that's where your budget categories come into play. Anything that you spent in the month of December or that's going to roll over into January 2023 should equal this inflow amount. For me, I always have a grocery budget of $400. I only spent $232.76, under budget by over $150, which is great. Eating out, I do rough with eating out, but I was actually really proud of myself. I was under budget by $3, which was great. Gas, I have a budget of $150. I only spent $101. That's actually more than I've spent recently. I feel like I did do a lot of driving in December, and I definitely had to fill up my tank, I think, like one more time than I've usually had to. This is a low amount though, and that's because I have a hybrid. So I get pretty good gas mileage, which is really, really great. Miscellaneous spending was definitely way over budget by over $200. My miscellaneous bills, so this was out of control this month, and I'm like looking back and trying to figure out exactly where it all went wrong, and I can't necessarily figure that out. I know I did do some overspending in the end of November, early December on just several random things, and adding it all up was like so disappointing. Almost $3,500 in just like random things. Not that I necessarily did purchase in December, but that, like I said, I didn't want to go into January with any balances on any of my credit cards. So I think some of it was spending in November that I just paid the card in December. Some of it was spending that I did in December. Savings definitely took a hit, and to me that's because I overspent in miscellaneous bills. I always want to be saving about $3,000 of my income, and I only saved $2629.75, which is really disappointing. My utilities were over by about $845. The reason for that is because I did get Audible in the month of December, so that's where that extra came from. Housing, that's my rent, that was right on cue. Giving, I was over by $80, which is fine. Debt was, my usual car payment, nothing over that. And then I did spend for my medical sinking fund, birthday sinking fund, and holiday sinking fund in December. Now, if I add all those up, I'm not going to get my total monthly inflow because I'm not accounting for any money that I'm going to roll over from December 2022 to January 2023. So I need to factor in any money I have in any of my checking accounts or in cash on the last day of December that I know I'm rolling over into January. And for me, that's going to be $1,224.61. And if I do the math by adding all these up and subtracting it from my inflow, I am off for the month of December. I'm off by $18.83. Unfortunately, did I go back and try to find this? I kind of sort of did. I just went through my numbers one more time to see if I could catch anything. I didn't catch anything, so yeah, not exactly sure why I'm off, but I'm not going to stress out too much about it. Next, we're going to go to the second of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets, and that's the monthly debt and savings breakdown. Now, for me, the only debt that I paid on this month was my Sikorsky, which is my car loan, and so that $456.85 was my car payment. It's 100% of what I put to debt this month. For the savings side, we're actually not utilizing inflow as our base point. We're utilizing income. What is that? Well, if I go back to the last worksheet, our income is going to be everything listed up here except for savings used. The reason why the budget mom does that is because she doesn't want people factoring in savings that they used when they're determining how much they saved, right? That doesn't quite make sense. So everything minus my savings used was a total of $9,384.55. I saved $2629.75. That was 28% of my income. And if I break that down a little bit more, $665 went to sinking funds. My biggest contribution for the month was my house savings at $1521.75. Excuse me. I say $55 for my $5 challenge, $185 for my 2022/2023 challenges. The reason I wrote 2023 in there is my last paycheck in December, I did contribute to one of the savings challenges for 2023. My 52-week challenge was $202, and then I was only able to put $11 in my emergency fund in the month of December. If I add all of those up, it does equal the total of $2629.75. And when looking at this, I mean, the biggest contribution was my house. I would definitely say of my savings goals, my house is my biggest savings goal, so it makes sense that the most percentage of cash went there. Next was my sinking funds. That makes sense for me as well. And then challenges after that. Lastly, we have the monthly spending comparison, which is the last of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. This starts out with figuring out your inflow change from November into December. I made $700.97 more in December than I did in November. And so a lot of times that means that you're going to have spent more in the month of December than the previous month. And as you can see, there's a lot of red here, so that makes sense. Groceries was almost spot on even, only $9 less in the month of December than November. Eating out, I really underspent in eating out in November, which is exciting. Was still under budget in December, but did spend more. Gas, I was way under in gas in November, ended up spending more in December, but still under budget. Miscellaneous, I spent more in December. Definitely spent a heck of a lot more in December on miscellaneous bills. I saved less. Again, I think that's because of how much miscellaneous bill spending I had done. My utilities were a little bit more, and again, I think that's just with things fluctuating a little bit, but also the fact that I now have Audible. Housing was the same. I gave more in the month of December. My giving category kind of messed up in November, and that's part of why. Oh my gosh, wait. I'm realizing why this is off right now. My giving amount is wrong. I gave more than $200. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Where is it? Where are my... So for giving, I checked off that I gave $200 to the Native American Heritage Fund. That was a contribution for November and December because I forgot to make a contribution in November. But I totally forgot to factor in these two things. Wait, now I'm going to be over. I forgot my church contribution, but I also put $25 into a GoFundMe for someone. Oh, that's why I'm off. I mean, I'm still going to be off, but I'm just realizing that this giving amount is totally wrong. So anyways, maybe I'll go back and fix this. I might not. I did less to debt this month. And then the rest is just sinking funds, which are always going to, you spend some months, you spend other months. So I don't really think comparing that is really valuable to me in any way. But that is my December 2022 budget recap. That's so funny that on the spot I did end up realizing like where I had made at least part of an error. I'm now realizing I've made some other error, but yeah, I might go back and try to fix that for myself. I might not, who knows. But anyways, that's my budget recap for December 2022. I will be continuing these monthly budget recaps into 2023. I really like doing them. I think it's nice to be able to like look at your budget from a month-to-month perspective and kind of see where you can make small changes to hopefully add up to larger changes. So yeah, that's definitely something I will be continuing to do. If you have any questions on how I budget, how I use the Budget by Paycheck workbook, please don't hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.